Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Community Spotlight brought to you by ATB Wealth, where we shine a light on incredible people, businesses, and initiatives making an impact in our community. Today, we're joined by ATB Wealth. Brittany and Tina, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So we're going to dive into the world of financial wellness education, all that fun stuff. And I kind of, when I was kind of preparing for it, started thinking about like financial literacy a little bit as well, because I feel like we don't teach that in school, and our kids graduate and we don't know anything about money other than how to spend it. The kids are really good at spending it.
Yes, they are.
And then we want to talk a little bit about your lunch and learn program you guys are doing. But before we jump into that, I've always loved to hear sort of your guys' story. And we were chatting before we went live here on. So what got you into the financial services? Like how did that story? Where did the story start there? Maybe if you want to go first on sort of your background on that.
Yeah. So I've been in since about 2007. Well, not about 2007. Okay. And I actually I did a total switch. I was in the health industry, like a personal trainer, that kind of thing, owned a gym.
Yeah.
And was looking for a career change, and this opportunity came up to get into this industry, and I thought, perfect, great way for me to learn my own self. And I've loved it ever since. I just couldn't learn enough, and taking it to my family and helping them, watching my kids, because like you said, not learning it in school.
Or even adults don't know.
No, and that's where I was too. Yeah. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started young. My parents are entrepreneurs and they own multiple different businesses. Okay. So I started out in their retail stores and helping their customers and getting to work the cash register. That was my favorite part. Right. And so just when I started researching careers around 13 or 14, financial planning was one of those options. And I was like, cool, I think that's what I want to do. So I went straight into the industry, and so I've been working only in this industry, and I started out in 2013.
Oh, interesting. And for people who maybe not familiar, we just talked about you guys 2 years now in the coin market. So almost, tell us a little about ATB Wealth, what you guys do. If we walk into your branch, your location, I guess I should say, what services, what products do you guys offer? How do you work with clients?
You want me to take that? So we're a wealth-only office, and basically you come into the office and we help with anything financial related, like financial planning. So that's anything, help manage your investments, but also take that step back and get you set up so that you are properly invested, and there's a plan in place for you for if it's a goal or if it's retirement, like different kind of things. So just getting to know you and helping you kind of get set up and taking it from there.
Love it. One thing that I know is important to ATB Wealth is community, because it seems like every event we go to, you guys are at. So we were just at an event together, and you're just saying another one this weekend coming up. So can you speak a little bit about like why it's important for you guys to get into community? Because I think kudos to you, because you're a team of two here, or three, I guess. Sorry, right? You do have three, I should say, but you're everywhere.
We are. Yeah.
So can you speak a little bit about why you're in the community, why that's important to you guys?
Yeah, community has been massive for ATB as a whole, but also for us individually. Like, we love giving back and volunteering our time. And being able to do it now with ATB for bringing that awareness to financial literacy and the education component, because finances are tricky, and it's been more of a taboo topic, and people don't like talking about finances. So we're really trying to just bring awareness to it. And if we can have one takeaway from people that we meet, that they leave going, cool, I can implement this one small thing, and hopefully that multiplies in their lives, and that's what gets us going. So
interesting.
Yeah, and ATB Wealth really has a strong, being community focused is really a backbone of what they do.
Yeah.
And being new to BC now.
Right.
just, that much more important. We want to get out and just kind of let everybody else know what ATB is all about, and just connect with people in the community and give back. And yeah, it's been great.
It's interesting because at the summit, the Chic Experience Summit, there was your team from Calgary came up, and it was so cool to see like a table full pretty much. It was really neat, like, because you don't, it is time away from family. I get it's not easy for some people to do that stuff, so that's how important it is. And interesting, one thing that you said that I thought was interesting, I think some of the topics that were coming around even at our table was, you didn't talk about money like we didn't talk about money growing up. It was it was the taboo, and I don't know why, but it was. Like you don't talk about it at the dinner table. You just argue over politics or religion, right? But you don't talk about money, which is the important one to talk about. So and I think that for me, it's like, I have kids in school or some, once graduated. They don't teach that. Like they don't teach that side of it, and sometimes from a parent, you don't even you never got taught that, right? Growing up, I didn't. You kind of so. I know one thing you guys have launched is like a lunch and learn program. So, and I think that's kudos to you guys, because I think that's an important part of the education side of it, right? So, can we speak a little bit about the lunch and learn, what it's about? I know I think you've done a couple already, and there's a couple more coming. Can you just talk about that program a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So Tina and I kind of put our heads together because we really love helping people and then just bringing awareness. So we created the Lunch and Learn. So where if you're a business, even a small business to a larger business, you can reach out to us. We have different topics you can choose from. So we come in, we bring lunch, and we go over the topic that you've chosen. So we have some that are ready to go. So called Road to Financial Wellbeing is the first one, Essentials of Investing, key retirement risks and how to overcome them, and how to choose your financial planner, because again, not many people know how to find that relationship. So we talk about things to look for there. And
Well, you guys customize topics based on the need as well. I know you have some.
We can for sure. Okay. Absolutely. We just wanted to kind of give a guideline.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
And I mean, one of the last ones we did, we didn't even get to complete the whole thing, just because the conversation was, and that's what we want, is people to feel like they can ask those questions and not feel silly because I should know them, but maybe they don't know them. And that's kind of was a big push behind why we want to do this, is just to get out and help people become more financially aware and literate, I guess, so they can, do better for themselves.
Right.
So, and in a safe environment where
exactly.
They can ask us the questions that, again, we had someone from our last one just say, like, thank you. I sat down with someone before and they just assumed I should know everything. So I was just like, but here they're like, we could actually ask you to understand. And they had some really great takeaways. So,
I am a little sad that you didn't bring us lunch, though, I have to say. So we could have lunch and learn here.
We could have had lunch and learn,
Did you get your order in?
So I'm curious on when it comes to sort of the format of the lunch and learns, when it comes to, let's say, the topics you outline, are you giving a presentation and then or is it all Q&A? What is sort of the format you guys are doing with businesses?
Yeah, so we have presentations ready to go. So, and we give you a handout as well with some of the materials. Cool. So you have take-home materials, but it's still informal. So even though we have slides and things we're going over, it's ask questions as they come up, kind of free flow that way.
Yep, no, absolutely. The presentation's there for us to, keep on track to follow, but we definitely, there's lots of questions and answers throughout the whole, it's very interactive, and we want it to be that way, to have that conversation and for people to feel comfortable to have that conversation, right? That's probably the biggest thing.
Are you, what do you guys hear from businesses and employees? Like, what are some of the questions or concerns or worries they're having right now? Is there something that kind of stands out for you from what you're hearing from them?
I think.
Well, I mean, there's always the big questions everybody has is like, how much is enough? And, am I going to be okay?
Depends
right?
How much you want to spend.
Exactly. But more just trying to like understanding the difference between like a real good clarification on even some basic things, like the difference between different types of investment accounts, or like what is used for this and how does that work and things like that. And then investing, talking about different market, how do the markets, like volatility, timing the markets, different kind of how different investment options of work, like just some like some basic questions to some more detailed questions.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Are the sessions mainly focused around like with the employees, or will you work with the business owners as well? Like on the
Both.
business side, you do both.
yeah,
Okay.
we can do both. Yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. I mean, it was kind of for the premise was for the employees, like the actual lunch and learns, but we can definitely tailor something for the employer as well.
Yeah.
So,
And it doesn't matter the industry.
Nope.
So
It's
how?
not.
So if like someone's listening, like we're in, we want to book. What do they do?
Yeah.
Reach
out to
out.
us. So yeah, I'm not sure.
What's the best way to reach out to you? Is it go to the website, or is there an email that should be, or a phone number? What's the best way for them to?
Well,
reach
we've
out?
got our office phone number, or they can just email each one of us, or
Okay.
either one of us individually. And I mean, they can go to the website, but I mean, I like more direct myself.
Yeah.
So
Or even LinkedIn too. Like you can find
Okay.
us both on
Anyway,
LinkedIn.
yeah.
And we can put
Yeah.
the information in the follow up article as well, and for
Yeah.
people can click
Yeah.
through and if they want to book as well, because I think this is it's such an important topic. Like it really does. Like I said, I know that. Are you guys actually doing anything in the schools? Are you actually going into schools and teaching any of this financial industry stuff, or not yet?
well, independently, like
Okay.
Brittany does with.
So I'm with Junior Achievement,
Oh,
so JA
awesome.
British
Yeah.
Columbia. So I
Yeah.
help volunteer with one of their programs in
Right.
grade 8-9 classes, and then Tina volunteers with.
Launch Okanagan, so it's more like it's a to anyone
Right.
really
Right.
to either learn some basic financial literacy skills, like going through budgeting, how credit works, all those kind of things. But as far as going into school, like there's so many. I've heard of lots of talk of that coming into the curriculum, but outside of like things like junior achievers,
You're not seeing
yeah,
it.
I don't
Not
know
yet.
how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
which is unfortunate.
It
Yeah.
is unfortunate because I
Mhm.
think it's one area that we just don't teach our kids, like which we teach
Yeah.
everything but that, like
Yeah.
which is I find it interesting, but it's good that we're kind of going to the next level because
Yeah.
a lot of these students that graduate, they go work for businesses. Now, if you can get into the businesses and actually talk about it, at least they're getting some,
Yeah.
because that's it, when they're starting to earn the dollars
Yeah.
is when they, what
Yeah.
happens to that dollar, what you should do with it, right? So.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting on that side. But you guys are actually at an event this weekend.
Yes.
You're doing a workshop,
We are.
and it's through Quib. So
Yeah,
Quib
Women in Business, yeah.
And you'll be doing a workshop on what? What are you guys doing?
So we're doing one on money mindset. So
Okay, cool.
Basically the key to unlocking your financial freedom.
Interesting. And we're not sure. We think there's tickets. We're not sure if there's tickets. We
I
said
think
we
there's still
Sure,
tickets
there's
available.
tickets available.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You go to the
Yeah.
Cullen Women
Yeah.
Business site
Yeah.
and you can go
Yeah.
catch it in. So, what's one, like when you're doing these lunch and learns, or not, even when you're talking to people either through one-on-one or events, like what's one key takeaway you would love people to just know? Like, is there a misconception about financial planning or anything that you would love just to, like, fundamentals, like break it down to the fundamental? I use ChatGPT. I'm like, explain it to me like I'm in grade 5. So Rob's in grade 5. Like, what are some fundamentals that you would say to someone that just maybe hasn't really explored, like hasn't looked at their financial planning or investing or anything like that?
Well, not to give away our whole workshop
Yeah.
this weekend, but really, I think learning your relationship with money and how you view and value money, because that will be
Interesting.
your foundation to anything that you do with your finances.
Right.
And to be curious, and it's okay that you if you don't know what you don't know, that's okay.
Right.
Like
right.
find out how to get started. Like there's so many resources out there, and just talk to somebody and just get started. Like it's not as there's a lot in the financial world,
For sure.
absolutely, but you don't have to know everything to get started.
For sure.
Right? Like it's just, and it takes off so much stress. Like when you know that I've got something in place. It's kind of like, cleaning out the messy closet. Like, okay, I got to clean.
sure.
Like it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's usually, I would say, not that, I can speak for myself, usually money is the root of a lot of people's stress, right? Because, and sometimes it's just because you just need to plan. You just need to sit down and actually do it rather than avoid it, right? So are you finding, has there been good uptake in the lunch and learns? I think you've done a couple of them now. Like, are you seeing that businesses or there's a willingness for business owners to bring you guys in to talk to their team and about this stuff?
100%. Again, it's a free resource for
Yeah,
them
yeah.
to leverage, and we're really coming in for the educational component so that the employees and the business owner can hopefully have a takeaway
Right.
to help improve their
Mhm.
financial lives, and just also knowing they're not alone. Like
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
people they can lean on and ask questions, and that's what we're here for.
And we bring lunch.
And we bring lunch. Yeah.
You just have to provide the space, which
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean? So it's, yeah.
Love it. We were talking before about AI and automation, and what you're saying about like there's lots of information out there, and there's lots of bad information out there.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that's you know, you can go on TikTok and Instagram, and everyone's a financial expert and telling you to buy these stocks. And so, how do you work with your clients to make sure like they're not, you know, believing everything they see and hear out there? Like, are you meeting regularly with, like, is it a monthly meeting? Like, you know, how's that communication so they don't see something on a TikTok channel or an Instagram and start freaking out that they're going to lose all their money or something like that? Like, how do you manage that with your client's relationship?
Yeah, so every client is individual and completely
Yeah, for
different. So there's some that we talk to very frequently,
Mhm.
and there's others that we
See
put
you-
their
see you at
plan
the
in
end of the year.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we put their plan in place, and we still communicate
Right,
with
right,
them,
right.
but they're a bit less frequent because they're not
Right.
reading those articles or doing those deep dives on
Right.
social media.
Yeah.
But the ones that do, again, like we're relationship based, so it's conversation. So they'll
Mhm.
call us up and they're like, "Hey, I saw this. Can you explain it to me?"
Give
so
me your
then
thoughts.
we chat
Right.
about it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or there's something going on, the tariffs and well, like, what does that
Yeah.
look like? You know, so you just, you know, it's
There's something
talking
going
with
on
them,
with
having
tariffs?
that relationship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we weren't gonna talk
sorry.
politics.
Yes,
never mind.
right.
Yeah, but just having
Yeah.
that relationship,
sure.
like Brittany said, for them to feel comfortable to call and
Yeah.
have question and what does this, you know, what does this mean
Mhm.
and what's going on and yeah, just having that ongoing relationship and trust together. So
Well, and I think I don't want to get into politics, but there's uncertainty, like
Yeah,
like it or not,
absolutely.
announcement, tariffs, things in the news, and you get worried, right? As
Yeah.
it, like, because a lot of people are, they're saying, especially if you're close to retirement or
Mhm.
you know you're seeing it, you can just see it, it's coming, and then all of a sudden you read stuff in the media or you hear things, there's panic, right? So part of it, I would assume you become part counselor, for lack of a better word, for
Yes.
people, just to have just an outlet to have those discussions, because if not, they might go online and search and they might get the wrong information, right? So even just being that sounding board is important
100%.
too, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, interesting. So is there one piece of financial advice that most people maybe just overlook? Is there something that comes to mind, like something that maybe they overlook they should do? I know you're saying kind of relationship with your money, but is there something like, is it the back to when I was young, it's like just invest a little bit every month, like like what I mean? So it's such a small thing, but is that just a good starting point? Like put a percentage of your paycheck away every month.
Yeah, I'm a big. We say it all
Yeah.
the time. Start now, start small. Like and not thinking now I don't have enough to put away,
Right,
or you just start small and let it grow from there.
Right.
And that's probably
That's
one of the
the
biggest
biggest
things.
things. Yeah, and do the hard thing.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
Open up your bank account,
Right.
open up your credit card
Yeah.
statements, and see where you're actually spending your money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it can be very eye-opening. You think you're
Starbucks.
spending this way,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then when you look
Yeah,
at your
no, for
receipts,
sure.
you're like, oh gosh, I didn't realize it was that much in that category.
Right.
So it's scary, and no one likes to do it, but
Right.
that can be very eye-opening.
But it also allows, and I mean, you guys can speak to this more than I can, but it's like when you open that up, it doesn't mean that you can't go for your Starbucks.
Yeah.
You can't, like,
Yeah.
it's the opposite to me. Is that if you know, because like everybody's different. Whatever is important to Rob might be different to the next person. So, but you can have a plan.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the difference. Is
Yep.
that I don't think you're saying do not buy us.
No,
Like
not
don't
at
have
all.
fun with your
Yeah.
money. It's
Yeah.
not what you're saying. It's the opposite.
Mhm.
Let's how do we plan so you can have you can do those and not be stressed. You don't want to be on
Yeah.
vacation and all you're thinking about is how are we going to pay for this vacation.
Mhm.
Like that's not healthy for anybody.
Yeah,
right?
so
yeah.
we're probably maybe an anomaly as financial advisors, but you want to live for today while planning for tomorrow. So
Right.
we really want to help people find that balance because
Hmm.
we don't know how long we're going to live, but
Yeah.
we still need to make sure that we have enough for when we do eventually retire, but not forsaking
Right.
everything while you're alive now.
And then you add kids into the equation.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, if you could give yourself, your younger self,
Oh.
financial advice, what's the one thing you would have done differently if you look back, knowing what you know today?
Well, for me, I
Yeah.
would have figured out, I would have started learning early because, like, I grew up in, like, that household. We didn't talk about money. It was taboo.
Right.
And like I said, I was in a different industry
Yep.
for the first 20 years of my career, did not manage money very well. So
Right.
knowing what I know now, getting into finance, I was like, oh, if I could only have done that, been there, done that before. But
Interesting.
yeah, go find someone that you can talk to and ask questions and just get started.
Yeah.
On something.
I love that.
So
even just being one of the takeaways from the summit where I was being curious from a leadership perspective. Like, be curious from a personal
Absolutely.
perspective
Yeah,
to ask
absolutely.
those questions.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Oh,
Like, I would have been won a
Yeah,
lottery ticket.
right? That would have been great. That's a really tough one.
You were perfect. You did.
I was gonna
Right.
say,
I was
yeah,
not
it's
perfect. I was not perfect. But I think, because I have always been a saver, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
But I think I would have maybe spent my money differently on things that I valued more.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love eating out, and that's my weakness.
Yeah.
But if I could have done
Yeah.
different trips or other things
Right.
with that money, I think that would have been more fulfilling than my one takeout meal.
So
but
that
I still
balance,
enjoy it, so I
that
budget
balance.
for my takeout.
Yeah.
But
Hilarious.
yeah.
You mentioned sort of the education side, just learning and reading. Is there any like a podcast or a book or anything that you recommend? Like anything that you've read or anything that you read or consume that you think people should? Is there anything that's out there, like, I don't know, like, because the internet's not all bad. Like, if you go on Google, there's people that know what they're talking about as well. So is there anything that comes to mind? Like, if you kind of do some self-learning, is there anything that comes to mind for people that they should do?
I think if you're online and you're wanting more of that type of resource, moneysense.ca. There's accredited financial planners that will write those articles, so they're great resources. Again, not all of it will be relevant to everyone, but I think that's a great starting point for some information to build upon.
And that I was going to say that for looking online, because otherwise, like, getting information online is like taking a drink out of a fire hydrant.
For sure.
Sometimes, right? But,
yeah, I know. You're right.
And then there's just different books that speak to you. Happy Money, I like. Balance. I think it's Andrew Hallam. Like, just different things. It's all about getting that relationship with your money, right? Like, if you gotta have that. Figure out what your relationship and your style is, so you can kind of work with it. So.
Right. Interesting. That's interesting. Is there anything else you want to leave people with? So, is some last words of wisdom or thoughts that we want to?
Oh
this
gosh.
is big. This is like
this
is like the defining moment of this talk.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I think if you're curious and want to learn more, just reach out to us. That's what we're here for, to help provide the tools and resources for you so that you can keep building upon your financial health.
I always go back to because I like kids and stuff, and I think that was the biggest thing that I got from doing what I do, is that I'm able to pass that on to my kids.
Right.
And I'm now going to watch them not go through the same struggles and stuff, and I love that. So, I mean, the biggest thing, for people to learn so they can kind of pass that on, because it's not formally taught. So that's probably, my big, deep passion.
I like it. It's great. And one thing I'll add is, when I was getting prepared for even just chatting, like, your guys' website actually has some good information on it too, right? Like, just going and just reading. There's
different articles,
or even follow your guys' LinkedIn. Like, you share stuff as well. So that's how I learned a lot, is just by consuming that sort of stuff, like going to find the experts and then listen to them, right? So even just go play around on the website if you're just curious as well. And then we will put the link, like, I believe your guys' contact is on your website. If
Yes.
you go to the Kelowna
Yep.
side, I think
It
it's all
absolutely
there, so
is.
you can
Yep.
reach out directly as well.
Yep.
So, and if anyone interested in the Lunch and Learn, because I think that's a great resource, and I think businesses are absolutely silly if they don't take advantage of it. So reach out, and like I say, you get free lunch on top of that, and you get to learn, and I think your employees will love it, that you're doing something for them to help them, right? Because a lot of employees are younger employees, right? So I think it's a win-win and a win, right? So I think it really is. So. And we'll put the link in there if people are wanting to reach out. So, but thank you for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
No problem. So everyone, we always encourage you guys to like, share, and watch our videos and send them out and to your friends and family. And until next time, have a great week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.